The views and opinions expressed on the following program are not necessarily those of the staff and management of Salem Media of Hawaii.
Aloha and welcome to Be Fit for Health. This is Bianca, your host. I thank you so much for joining me today. I'm really excited to bring back a guest that we've had here before. And, we're going to be talking again about our health and well-being and get some good advice from our guest today. We're going to be talking a little bit about, what can we do to boost our immune system again? And, there's so many modalities that are out there that we can utilize. We want to take back that control to some degree. Unless we have a pre-existing condition, if you're fairly healthy, there are some things that you can do to really just maximize your ability to stay healthy and sane through all these crazy times that we're going through. And one of those things that, I always talk about is nutrition. And another component is getting sleep, keeping your body hydrated, just making sure that you try to keep your stress levels at a certain level. But sometimes we need that extra little help. And my guest today is no exception when it comes to someone who is well-rounded and is knowledgeable when it comes to our wellness. Kelly Nash Montone has been here twice before. She was also here with John Thorpe, who is one of the premier founders when it comes to exposing the Electro Equiscope to the world and to many medical professionals out there. Kelly has, got her BA degree in sociology from the University of California in Santa Barbara. She was also a professional athlete in high school and college in soccer, and she's coached soccer for many groups, for young ladies out there, and passed the information along to those individuals when it came to their athletic abilities. But she's also had many experiences where she's been injured and needed recovery, and she used the Electro Equiscope for her own self healing and recovery to help her with her performance as an athlete. And because of those experiences, she went ahead and got herself certified by the John Thorpe Institute in microcurrent electrotoxicology. And so now she is a technician here in Hawaii, which is fantastic because, honestly, it's really hard to find these types of technology or, when it comes to the latest and greatest that's out there in Hawaii. And you really need to search and locate these individuals to help treat us. So we're lucky enough to have her here in Hawaii. She's working out of a chiropractor's office right now, and she's been treating patients there. But here's the thing, though. She's got a mission. She wants to get this to everybody. In order for her to do that, she needs to go out there and contact medical professionals like doctors and clinics and things like that to get this equipment in there so that you all get the same treatment. And she can only take care of so many of you guys at one time, right? Maybe 8 patients a day if she's got that stamina. But she wants everybody to experience this. And I'm lucky enough to be one of her patients. And let me tell you, I can't live without her. Kelly, are you on?
I'm here. Good afternoon. Can you hear me?
Yes. So I was just telling them how lucky we are to have you here because every single time that you're on, I'm trying to let them know how special you are because you're one of 2 on the entire island chain. You're here in Oahu, but we have one other individual that also does it. In what island was it?
She is on Big Island, Dr. Kellen Geller with bioenergetic therapies using this technology for about 15 years, I want to say.
Great.
And having great success over in Waimea. And then, yes, I'm the only one on Oahu, so looking for more interested medical practitioners or licensed acupuncturists, whoever is curious, physical therapists to really enhance their practices.
Yeah, because this, when we'll get into what exactly a microcurrent therapy is and what the Electro Equiscope does, because it's always good to remind our folks, even though you've been here before, this therapy actually, this modality actually helps relieve so many different symptoms, correct?
Correct.
Yeah, so one of it for me is the pain, because I'm in pain because I have fibromyalgia. So it helps me with my pain, helps me with my inflammation. And I know that for you, it also helps calm down my system, which is always in the state of fight or flight. And, for me, it's not a matter of this machine curing me, because there's really nothing really to cure fibromyalgia, but it puts me in a state of balance where then I can at least feel comfortable.
It does. It really harmonizes your system. You've come in a couple times just with this heat aura around you, producing this heat and a high speed volume and a stress level that we knock that down in usually the first 30 seconds. Am I right? That we bring that down, and I can feel that radiating heat just start to get more controlled, and you're communicating better with the systems, and that's exactly what it does, an instantaneous exchange of these cellular potentials, really, that we are just these beings, that we're electrical, and if we can get the potentials in the right harmony and the right balance, we can really get some control of our central nervous system. And that's, breath work. It is, like you said, a tool. It's not the one and only cure-all by far, and it does take that team effect, and you're the biggest player with the communication system that you have and recognizing it.
Yeah. I mean,
it's highly effective for pain relief.
Yeah, it's huge.
Rehabilitating different ligaments or muscles, or rehabilitating anything, really, neurological pathways. We can get into brain waves. We can, take it to any system that is connected to this vehicle that we're traveling in, and be able to reestablish that mathematical equation, really. And
it is complicated.
That's
to
what the
some degree.
Electro Equiscope is.
Yeah, you've simplifies it. It kind of just, it reads you, and then it tells you as a practitioner, okay, this person is not harmonized. Like me, I come in, and you can already tell when I walk through the door. You're so skilled. You're like, okay, just lay down. We're just gonna deal with a certain frequency to calm your system down. Because sometimes, when we get into the nitty gritty, sometimes you don't have to take this person into repair mode. You just need to take them into, calming the system down so that the body actually knows what to do after that.
That's right. The body's going to repair itself. We put it in a kind of restorative part that send the signals to the body that it's okay to break down these, break down the walls, break down and get through and connect with the cell membrane to rehabilitate. And then your body can repair itself while it's getting into, the different frequencies that we need to talk about.
Yeah, I mean, your body's basically shut down when you're stressed. And, and if you're stressed, and then what happens, it's almost like, I want to say, like, when you're working out, you sometimes stop breathing for some reason, because you're focused so much on the movement itself and the stress of the weight. It's almost like your body forgets to take that breath in. It's like when you sit down and you're looking at the body and it's not moving much, like the frequency of the nerves maybe aren't communicating anymore. It's like they kind of stalled because of the stress that's in the system. You're kind of reminding the body, going, oh, okay, take a breath, or, okay, you can energize yourself now. Everything is good. You're okaying the system to kind of move along. So let's get into what exactly is microcurrent therapy. What exactly does the Electro Equiscope, what does it do?
The microcurrent therapy it's non-invasive, it's non-chemical, it's a neural response technology that is designed to relieve pain and accelerate the recovery time with really small electrical currents. So we don't bombard the system and just go in and trigger away. It's a very, subtle. You may feel it, you may not, may feel like little tickles. But what it's doing is getting into those energy pathways.
Oh, that's really interesting.
Working to the nerves or meridians, those channels, the nadis. Everybody has a name for it, but we're really just getting into those pathways and breaking through where there's any resistance, or you can call it impotence. And it's going direct to opening the channels of the cell and restoring that cell's electrical charge. It's what happens when your battery of your phone is dying and you plug it into the wall and you see it charging up.
That's actually a really good analogy.
Balancing. We are, and this is what the system does to each of those cells to get them all in alignment And that's how we communicate from cell to cell and rebuilding healthy cells to heal the body by itself. And we will, get through some of that pain, and the signals are shared, and that's what's really precise is that we can tell with the biofeedback of the system of the Electro Equiscope if that electrical pattern is normalized. We get a reading that is achieved, and we can move forward, and the healing process we know is beginning. So it's a very fine-tuned instrument to really work the system completely and wholly.
It's really interesting. And it also varies too, just like in anything, right? If it's acute, it probably most likely could repair, or you can figure out a way to stabilize it faster. If it's chronic, you have to sometimes go back and check at the end of the treatment to see if it's stuck, and you have to maybe remind it again before the patient leaves. You've done that so many times with me.
Yeah, the tissue, we have that memory in our body, and usually the acute things we can work through a little bit faster. We haven't built up the extra traumas or extra, things that are kind of down that wire, that circuit, if you call it, when your headphones aren't working and you can kind of put some tape on it or jiggle it a little bit,
right.
Really to break through. But we have done that with you, and your body does remember, and it's nice that you have this at your convenience. We do have doctors and technicians and practitioners all across the nation, and I really would love to have more on this island for more holistic care.
So needed.
For everybody.
It's so needed because everyone's taking medication. You and I were talking about this before. Like, there's nothing wrong with meds. It's fine. But the problem is sometimes those meds cause other issues. And instead of the body healing, it's just stalled because now you're just treating the pain, but you're not treating the cause. And the cause is what's giving you the issues. And then you end up taking more medication, and the body is now confused. And here you are coming in and trying to treat the body to get into balance, but you've got these chemicals in there that might be confusing the system to actually balance out.
Right.
So
you get these injections, right? And the tissues and the ligaments, they get confused. It's not the same. And our bodies aren't responding too well to a lot of that. And yes, it's a quick Band-Aid for a minute if that's what you really, go to. But that pain is your body's way to communicate and pinpoint. So sometimes with really chronic or, chronic can be really long-term, or chronic can be like a really invasive, separation of a shoulder, or, something that happened really dramatically, even though it happened pretty soon. It's a big thing to re-educate and reconnect and repair the tear. I don't know where it's going with that, but
no, it's true. The medication
it
factor
takes a little bit longer to re-educate.
Yeah, so you take pain medication, right? Like let's say even an Advil or something like that, and what you're doing is to some degree you're building a toxic load, which then you have to try to break through first, and then once that toxic load is removed, which then you can go into the spot that's actually injured or needs that extra attention. Like with me,
guaranteed.
Yeah, so you had to do lymphatic drainage with me with the machine, with the Electro Equiscope, and basically help the body process the toxins in the waste that's in my lymphatic system and get it out of my body. Obviously, I have to drink lots of water after the treatment, but It does make a difference.
I warned you, to get electrolyted.
Yeah.
It does make a big difference. We store a lot of stuff, and sometimes our body cannot process it fast enough and needs a little assistance and to move those things along and let the body get flushed out and restore to be able to heal.
So my question then, Kelly, is with what's happening out there with the COVID-19 virus and people's immune systems being compromised because of so many things that are happening in their lives, stress, medications, what have you.
Anxiety, right? We're building it up, and what does that cause? Inflammation.
Yep.
We're going to get pains. We're going to get aches. And we really do need to focus and tune in to ourselves, to what is going to be the best. And, we can start with a deep breath that can vibrate everything, but ultimately, our cells are starving, are craving these electrical potentials, and we got to keep them up. We got to keep that vibration get into the earth, get the charges, eat the real food, nothing
Right.
if you can, no package, no labels. I mean, it's great, but then sometimes I'm like, oh, why am I even reading the label? Like, could I do this with, some flour and can I make this myself? Or I should just eat an apple. Mountain apples are going crazy this summer over here.
Yeah.
Really energizing those nerves and not getting stressed out and allowing the body to go into that response system. And
Right.
there are great vitamins, there are great supplements, there are things to enhance our optimal being. And when we are utilizing all of them and reaching out for help, there's nothing wrong. We're built to work in communities and use each other's intelligence and
Well, the thing is
create
too
that
is
optimal
your food that you consume, sometimes you can't absorb it because you've got issues in your gut. Your machine also helped me because everyone knows, because I'm so open with my issues. I had a small bowel obstruction, and I had issues with elimination and issues with stomach pain, or maybe some kind of structural whatever. You were able to have me balance that out enough for me to be able to have relief, because that can cause other issues, right? The pressure in your gut can also cause your body to have neuropathy or to have headaches or to have, being constipated is obviously not a fun experience either. You're able to do that with the machine too.
Right. I'm looking at a lot of the pain referral, that you were having. It was leading us there, and maybe we even instigated something like that. Your body's just processing so much that the little toxicity overload and the blockage in there, it all started to rise and had to filtrate somehow, and calming that system, working with those other symptoms to keep your body calm and to restore itself, because you did bounce back, pretty good. And from that in your body, the instrument with the biofeedback was telling you, look, you're not even completely out, have some memory here, and really able to work through that.
No, it's amazing. No, you're
speaking of neuropathy and those things. Yeah, we can really. I just had a man last week. It was his shoulder, and he couldn't move his fingers, and he couldn't feel them. He needed to type for work. 35-minute session, he was wiggling his fingers. He had no pain. And yes, his shoulders still felt weak, but he could actually tell, okay, I know the tear is here now. He could localize that. So we could really go into it, get him some more relief. And you know what? He's like, I don't mind feeling weak. I just, now I don't have the pain, and it's great. But really triggering everything from connective tissues to the nerves, and helping assist that process and getting it out. Because what was he recommended? Pain meds, until they could get him in for an MRI to probably, do his thing. So I'm really looking forward to continue working with him. They did schedule his MRI, and, he just wants to know. Knowledge is power, and he can choose then how he wants to work with this.
Yeah, well, how is the pain meds going to help him with his not being able to move his fingers or his numbing? I mean, seriously.
Yeah.
It kills me. That's where I get so frustrated. I mean, you're also a holistic viewpoint when it comes to how to treat. Functional medicine basically is what we look at. In Chinese medicine, it makes sense to us. And then when you go to a doctor, say, look, I can't move my fingers, I don't feel them, or they're tingling all the time, or my skin feels like I have goosebumps all the time. What can I do to help relieve that? Unfortunately, they don't have the time or the resources for them to give us really that sound advice. And this is why it's necessary for the audience to understand having the options to go see someone like you, get IV therapy, or go and get like a lymphatic drainage massage, or get something that's going to be very, physical, but yet very effective to kind of carry him to the point where until he might have to have surgery or have to have something else done. But pain medication alone, it just makes you comfortable for a short minute. Then you have to take it every 4 hours. With you, though, my personal experience, because everything I say is from my experience with you, is that when I've had pain, you were able to subdue it from let's say an 8 to a 2, which I could deal with and it would last for many days or even weeks, depending on the area and circumstance. That's huge. I don't take pain medication unless it's like I can't come in to see you. Like yesterday, I had a headache. It was really bad. I had no choice but to take one Tylenol. But you know what? I did, and I drank a lot of water to flush that sucker out. And but this is why I want you to explain this.
Yeah, microcurrent therapy with this instrument, the Electro Equiscope, is very essential right now and this time. And I believe with everything going on there, we're coming back to this holistic. People like to say it's alternative, and I get a little bit defensive, and I accept it. But we have always treated these electrical beings that we are as such, and whether it's a reflexology point or, however we can access these channels and the systems that we're living in, this vehicle, and we have these specialized individual programs for each client. It's we're all so unique in our special ways, and just because, your blockage maybe in your small intestine is different than somebody else's blockage in their small intestine, just the way that we're built. So,
Right.
By our creator, and that's an amazing thing to appreciate. And it's not a one pill, one stop kind of deal. And I mean, we can work with anybody. I worked with a lot of athletes, but that's just, you introduced me, and I am a high active being here.
Yeah, you go surfing all the time too.
I attract that like-minded lifestyle, and then just with referral basis, none of my soccer teammates or soccer players had any excuse to be injured for too long or, not being able to play. And so that word of mouth with other coaches here on the island were spreading to theirs. And the chiropractor, Dr. Joe Brewitt, is very active as well with triathlons. And but I've been working with this instrument over 25 years, and I have always, not had a niche. It's not a niche because this system works on everything from deep down organs and the skeleton that holds us together. And I'm open, I'm enthusiastic to experience and welcome anybody. And I have worked on a variety of issues with, concussions, arthritis, tendons, that just from regular use, not only athletes, a lot of desk work stuff that people are ergonomically just, overtrained, but edema and neuropathy. I've worked on veins, the varicose veins that can be painful, cellulite. So and there's aesthetics as well, sometimes if it is that cellulite, but it's not, just for looks or tightening skin, smoothing scars out, or just smoothing some wrinkles. We have a lot of protocols individualized for each thing that we're made up by in every cell of our being. Yeah. And, if something's bothering you, listen, check in and research and know that we're here. And this is why I love to come back on your show to share that passion and really reiterate so everyone does understand that there is a system like this out here. And if there's any doctors that or that your listeners know of that may be interested, or you would like them, you think their practice would complement and can work together, I am a technician trained in sales and trained in training and trained in the technician work that I've been doing. I have been certified for about 7 years. But as you mentioned, I worked with these instruments for a long time on my own body and got to know them in and out like a language. And really, it is really simple. The mathematics is everything in the art of, the artificial intelligence inside of it, doing all the computerized work that needs to communicate with the system. And it's amazing. It's fabulous.
And it's safe. It's not like you're going to have like some kind of a weird, shock, or you're going to have like a burn, or you're going to have like, it's just I guess it's a language that your body understands.
Absolutely. And there's ways too, we can start with a relaxation protocol to just really restore that safety issue and what it feels like. Well, I don't feel anything yet. Well, great. You're not supposed to, but we can, it doesn't mean that it's not working. That's how gentle it is. It is completely safe. It is not harmful and works on any age, any race, any animal, being, creature.
Yeah.
We can recharge their electrical components and help them relieve their pain and get their muscles and tendons working with, full range of motion, optimal function, and increase that circulation, which is huge.
Can you be more specific, and can we get to it being a little more specific? So I know that right now with people's immune system that needs to be boosted up, the question that I want to ask is, what does the detoxing program look like with this Electro Equiscope, and how does that help when someone is detoxed with the building of their immune system? Can you take us through what happens to the body as you're detoxing it with the Electro Equiscope and what you suggest afterwards?
Even before, I always suggest hydration, electrolytes. We can't express that enough to really help the body absorb and decompress the toxins that are going to be getting processed out and wasted. And we move it through your body. Usually we can go up and down the spine, either bilaterally or all the way up the governing vessel, which runs from the base of your sacrum. There's really gentle, those depending on the body, they're really gentle. They can produce a lot of movement. We're releasing out of every organ and connective tissues. Our spine carries the blood systems that pump to all of our being, and we just move that blood along and correcting all of the cells that will give the good neurons and juice to the rest of our body. And normally they're about 30 to 45 minutes, and most of my clients by minute 2 are usually snoozing.
Oh,
they're
nice.
usually having a little snore, resting in a deep, rest, and that's what it does. It instantaneously lets the body know that it's safe and it's going to start restoring itself. We're just instilling the calming effects to shut down that part, the sympathetic nervous system, and say, okay, let's repair here. And there's other systemic detoxes we can do, such as the reflexology in our hands, our feet, our mouth, and our teeth. Our ears have as well, every connective tissue organ. You have your toes, your brain. It's no wonder we can really treat the whole system at once to re-energize, I want to say is the word, is what we're doing. So you can feel better. Sometimes you feel a little bit tired because your body's still restoring and it has a lot to process. Most of the time it's a re-energized feeling, and you get a calm sensation, more focused, because you're repairing those cells that needed some potential charges.
Well,
is that
yeah.
Did I dive into it deep enough?
You did. You got a little more detail than I needed to, but that was great. But we're gonna take a really quick 30-second commercial break. In fact, it's your commercial, and then when we come back, I wanted to get back into what the body does when it comes to having a certain other ailments and how you're treating it and what the body feels like afterwards too. So I'll ask you those questions when we get back. Okay, awesome. We'll be right back, guys.
Have you heard of microcurrent therapy? If you suffer from chronic pain, arthritis, sports injuries, ligament injuries, or migraines, the Electro Equiscope can help. This non-invasive treatment system is drug-free and shows no negative side effects. If you are seeking pain relief and want to boost your immune system, schedule a demonstration or consultation by calling Kelly, your microcurrent electrotoxologist, at 485-9697 or follow on Instagram at Kelly's Time. Make your appointment today.
And we're back. That was a quick break. I just wanted to give you guys an opportunity to hear from Kelly in a different way. Well, Kelly, the reason why I asked you the question about the detox is because I think it starts from there. Once we get rid of some of the waste that has been stagnant in our system, that allows our bodies to open up, and it is a part of the cellular system. It is part of getting all that junk out of the cells so that the body is able to function at the optimal level. So we have the energy production. But when we want to build the immune system, what other treatments do you do? Because I know you've done with me, I've asked you to do like the vagus stimulant nervous system. You deal with the nerves that are attached to the brain because there's 12 cranial nerves. You've actually gone into, I would say, I could be incorrect because I'm still a layman, into the limbic system or into the hypothalamus part of the brain or the pituitary gland. And you use a lot of Chinese points to get to them. So can you explain a little bit about how that correlation works with the Chinese points and your treatments?
Yeah, they have a long history of working really well. They're highly energetic points that we can access those meridians and channels, organs. Like you were saying, we've worked your hypothalamus, and where we go is behind your ear.
Right.
The adrenal point to really settle down with that overload that you take on, your precious self. And we highly appreciate you for doing all of the work that you do. And yeah, you get run down too, and we can help you with that. We have helped you with that. We'll continue to help you with that. We're trying to get you in control of your own system at all times, but working with you has really shown me some great ways and how to access these bodies and putting it to use of all of the systems. So works off of the Chinese medicine that has a really long history of helping individuals live long, healthy, optimal lives and really break through some pains that they can't pinpoint, that ultimately, it all affects everything. If one thing is getting shut down or overloaded, we can really help to balance that and boost the whole entire system. We can work directly to the spleen by accessing points on the leg, on the toes, and so it's not so overwhelming for the body.
Or the stomach on your head. Isn't it amazing? Because remember, with everything that I'm going through with my stomach, because I kept telling you where I've got these headaches, and you're like, well, these are all stomach points, Bianca. And I'm like going, oh, that makes sense. So we just don't go directly to the stomach area. We go to other parts of the body to treat the stomach issues, which is so cool.
And some of the gallbladder, what is your gallbladder doing? Helping you break down, the toxins. And no wonder this meridian was really calling out for some attention and help, and you were listening. Yeah. It's here. And your body was showing signs too. Oh, I'm having a little breakout over here, and just the heat activation. So
that was really
really wonderful to combine those technologies, philosophies, and really going at it with this.
Yeah,
cool.
I'm a specimen. You definitely try your best to correct things, and you do, and then I come up with something new for you to deal with. It seems to be a challenge, even with my acupuncturist who's been around for 40 years, and he's incredible. One day I hope to have him on my show. He's a wealth of knowledge too. But every time he'd work on me, what he would say to me, out of my 40 years of working on people, you are the biggest challenge. And I don't know why.
And that's why I encourage even the acupuncturists to come check out what we're working with here. They can take their practice to another level. Yeah. I am not an acupuncturist, but I do work off of those. I believe highly in the philosophy, and it has never failed me when I'm working with a body. Well, what's going on, in the liver? Oh. Or what's going on in the gallbladder? Oh, they took that out. Oh, there's a lot of things that it's conjunction that way. And so I highly recommend that if you are doing acupuncture, call me up. Let's have a conversation and see where you can take your practice with this instrument and see what you can do for other people. It's really meant to enhance those practices. Being a registered Class 2 medical device, in use for over 30 years in mainstream and the alternative, medical practices, and it's there. The science is there, and really incorporating it doctors are really have stepped up and believe in this system.
Yeah.
Drop some names, it's Dr. Daniel Amen. I mean, we're across the board, so please go on Intel Bio and check out their practitioners
So
if you
many.
want someone in
Yeah.
your area. But the Amen clinics are huge in working with the body holistically. And Dr. Steven Sinatra, who's a cardiologist, internal medicine, a lot of these people are double, triple, quadruple certified board practitioners.
Yeah.
Dr. Cambria DeMarco, she's huge in what she's done, and only from her own family member getting sick. I can't remember the whole story. She became a functional medicine practitioner to incorporate both. She
Amazing.
agrees, sometimes we need this medicine,
Yeah.
and sometimes, how can we use that and incorporate and wean and control the system in such a way that the body can then do it by itself. And what do they go to when they're not feeling well? An Electro Equiscope.
Yep.
It can start to be then, once we get the body in a place, it's the first thing go to. And that speaks wonders on its own. And I know even Dr. Joe Brewitt, he gets hurt or he's not feeling right. I need in with you. There's a good handful here as well that I love and appreciate and utilize their practices too. And I'm always encouraging others to check out places and get the feedback and share with me and see if the approach is a good fit. And, when the time is right, I'm here, and I don't know for how long, but I'm passionate about doing what I'm doing and happy to help.
Hopefully you don't leave,
other beings
Kelly.
become healthy.
You're not allowed to go. You're not allowed to leave the
If
Hawaii.
If God calls me, I hope you've worked with this instrument enough to get your certification.
I know. I'm on that. I'm on that path.
But
Trust me, I am. You and I talk about it all the time. I've even talked to John Thorpe in a way. I'm still thinking about it because it's really is something that I was actually going to go into Chinese medicine and get my degree in Chinese medicine. And I haven't gotten to that point yet, but it's, and I love acupuncture. I think it works for a lot of people. Not everybody does well with acupuncture. It's not that they don't do well. It just may not make an effect on their body, but it does work for most. And this is even more deeper because the penetration of the frequency in those Chinese points that you put the wand or the I forgot, my brain just stopped. But anyways, probes, thank you. Yeah, it just penetrates it deeper so that you're able to get to those areas even much more effectively. Now, I find that you're also working with the connective tissue. You're not just working with the muscles and the nerves, you're also working with the connective tissue, which is all over our body.
Yes. And we can even access those as well, though, in acupressure points. We can add a little bit more pressure. The connective tissue is huge, from the fascia to the top of the surface of the skin, all the way deep into every ligament, tendon, what connects our muscles and things so that we can be stronger, and even if you're not having problems, if you want to perform better or just have
better flexibility,
a little bit more range of motion, flexibility, it improves all of that and enhances that as well. And then that will be preventative, we'll say, because you're allowing the body to be as strong as possible. And if there's the little mini tears, and we can really repair that, get through that lactic acid buildup or whatever the injury seems to be, or the cause of imbalance.
Now that's really interesting that the beginning, like Mr. Thorpe came up with the thought of partnering up with the Chinese points. I found that to be very genius because it is the most specific to getting to other parts of your body. I mean, obviously people don't understand putting a probe on your skin. They're thinking, how does that work? It's frequency. You're using 4 levels or 5 levels of frequency. You're using delta. And what were the other frequencies you were using?
Theta.
That
REM cycle. Yes. The rapid eye movement where you're in the dream state. We get to the alpha, the meditative inward awareness. Most of our healing happens there. That's a very resonating frequency. There's the beta, which is our highly multi-stimuli, where you like to go a lot. She comes in, okay, and I got this, and I got that, and I got that. We bring her back. We start in a delta to open those channels up, right? And she's like, and It started last night.
I'm like, I'm barely talking. No, you guys, you don't understand. She's right. 2 minutes later, all of a sudden I went like, I'm really tired. Gosh, I'm so tired. What's going on? You're like, and you're laughing at me like, oh, finally.
I'm just,
Did she like drink like 5 cups of coffee before she walked in the door? What's going on?
So that's the high, that's betas, right? We have high betas,
Right.
beta frequency, and there's gamma frequencies. So yeah, we can help the body transition through all of those. Sometimes what happens in this world and society that we're living, we just wake up, we hit the go, and it's like 0 to 60.
Yeah.
Over here on the island, we'll
We're
just
not
say
going from
0
step
to
to step. Yeah,
0
I
to 55. Really quick, and we kind of miss some of that theta interaction, get into that inward awareness, that alpha, and we want to really help that body transition so it can have healthy cells all the time, and they remember exactly what frequency, and that's in your muscles, that's in your nerves, in your every being, where we carry that.
And the way we
potential.
think also processes our body to get into that certain frequency too, right? So our thought
By
patterns
long
can,
and far.
yeah. And I know I'm a beta.
A lot of times I like to work with that meditative state just to help reignite that fire in a being that it's safe, it's okay. We sometimes go through so much trauma and PTSD that we don't even know, but we can all have. The statistics are huge. I think 70% have huge high trauma that are stored in our body somewhere, and that causes imbalances and can lead down the line of, chasing a rabbit down a hole.
Yeah.
And
well, all they need is to get some Delta.
Try to prevent that. Yeah.
My favorite.
Delta is a very nice, very, very good
it's
one
a great
to go
place.
to.
It's like you don't need any drugs to mellow you out. This is it, guys. You go to see Kelly. She puts you on Delta, and then you just go moi real quick. You go to sleep, and you're done.
My God. Induce the natural painkillers are endorphins into the body. But, that it's a drug list, but like you just said, it feels like the best drug because it's electrical currents that are just diving deep, focused, precise, to the point where there's any abnormal, anything that sounds to this communication with your system unhealthy, going to go resonate it fast.
And if you do this enough, your sleep patterns would get better, I would assume. Even though you do it, let's say in the afternoon.
I hear that all the time.
Your evening sleep is better.
Bianca, most everyone, I slept better tonight. I slept deeper. I had the most profound. And hey, when I woke up, the pain still wasn't there, expecting the pain. And it's sometimes really hard to let go of. And helping process that as well. Our protocols are 3 consecutive sessions to really break through those old patterns, really re-educate, really dive in. I've said it before, and that's for expected results, although people may feel better after, like I've expressed over and over, one session. Wow, right? You get okay, I feel better.
No,
what is this?
But you also
different.
affect the mood. You affect someone's personality. It's, what's really interesting that and I'm not going to make any claims here for you or for me, but when you do the limbic system, which is where our emotional personality is, and our, what do you call it, our emotional responses. So let's say you had a dramatic situation like I did. My father passed 15 years ago. Those storages of grief in the emotional state of being, it gets stored also to the cells, and it gets stored into a pattern, right? When you go in and you stimulate the system to a place where you bring balance and you bring calmness, you bring state of, wellness, your body then starts to respond to it, so that it also affects not only your sleep, but also affects the quality of your well-being, but also affects your personality to a good, positive way. So you start thinking more positively, you start feeling more positively. I would think that having a wellness overall would also circulate and bring you to yourself of like a balance of your emotional state. I can't imagine why that wouldn't happen.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, if you can imagine, as that little cell, all these we have how many capacitors in there as our little cellular beings we are, you're giving life back to that one cell, and then the next cell, and the next cell, and the next cell, and the other cell, and the cells keep reproducing this healthy life cell that's an optimal functioning. So that's what's happening inside. It's also what's protruding outside.
Yep.
So it is an overall effect. I get it. I'm giving life back.
Yep.
By being a technician of this instrument. And overall, it's true. Mood enhances. I mean, because,
so a psychologist could use this too, right? As a psychiatrist or a psychologist, instead of giving medication, they could be true. I mean, back in the day, I'm not taking you there, but I'm not saying you're there, but back in the day, they used electric shock in the sense of trying to stimulate the neurological responses in the brain. They didn't know back then.
Well, they were on the right path.
Right, yeah.
They were totally on the right path.
Right.
It's just that those were too big of
too powerful.
Microcurrent.
Yeah.
They weren't small enough. Yeah. That they were only stimulating and they weren't penetrating the cell.
Right.
So that's why this is a lot. It feels even more different. My athletes are people that have had, surgery or chiropractic, and they get the pads and things that they're getting the E-stems, right? The stimulations, but they're a bigger ampere. So we're using a smaller picocurrent, to be precise. That it's so small that that our cell membranes are reactive to that they'll actually, because they have, if you think of like a gate barrier, like you're trying to get through your garage door without pushing the button, you're causing a lot of trauma. Yeah. And it's a hit or miss. I'm just going to be honest, it's a hit or miss technology. So it's great for some, and some days it can be awesome, and some days it can be maybe a little bit not so awesome.
Right.
And we want to really hit the garage door button, park the car nice, and no one has any trauma. And then we don't have to call the repairman. We don't have to do any other extensive work, and we can live our regular life. So that's basically this pico small current is pushing the garage door button to your cell and saying, these are your your nutrients. Here's some really good vibrations.
We've come a long way since the days of electric shock, huh?
Right. The ions is what I wanted to say.
Oh my gosh,
the ions that are going to recharge you. So that's the difference between this instrument, and that's why we feel all these feelings, is because we're doing outside work. We put the probes are on your skin, and it's skin to skin to get that electrical conductive current through and penetrate your pores down to wherever it needs to go. We can target exactly and make a bullseye point, or we can, like we've expressed, hit these acupuncture points. That, don't be afraid, everyone listening. There's no needles. It's a very soft. You may feel just a little bit. Yeah, sometimes my probes in the AC can be a little cold, but it warms up your skin, and it's great. That might be the most shocking, but it is a very non-harmful, non-invasive.
Yeah.
We're not.
Or so I wouldn't be going back to you. I mean, fibromyalgia, our body's in pain all the time. This is the first treatment where I get nothing but positive response from my system. It is just for me, I can't live without this machine. It is really one of those exceptional, instant quality of a treatment that I've gotten because of the fact that it is so scientifically, technologically advanced when it comes to the way it goes into your body without cutting you, without swallowing something or what have you. It is just really wonderful to have that. And it's just like I said, people have to get injections, or they have to go get, if you get a certain type of stimulant, like you said, like those TENS units or whatever, they have to contract the muscle to get some kind of a response. Those are all different stuff. This is different. This is the kind of technology that you don't even sometimes feel that she's doing something. She puts the probe on you and it just feels good. I mean, that's easy. But I do want to help you with getting your mission done. And we need to get this into doctors' offices, clinics, naturopathic DOs, people who are, dealing with patients, psychologists, veterinarians, because this is so proactive with dogs without having to, hurt them or impinge on them or, put medication in them. This is really a great, I don't want to say alternative. This is a really great option to add to what they're consistently doing with their patients now. So, I want to make sure that I get your information out there before I start shutting this down with you. So we want to send them to your website, which is
microcurrentelectrotoxicologist.com.
And that's on my website too, guys. I mean, in case if they need to figure out what it is. So microcurrent electrotoxicologist.com.
Correct.
Okay.
That's what I got certified as, and I'm sticking to it. And that's where you can find me as well. I have a Facebook
It's a mouthful,
page.
though.
As well. You can always find me on Instagram. It's very easy. It's Kelly's Time. On Facebook is Micro Electro Toxicologist for Healing and Harmony. That's what I hope to create in your life and other lives and pass the words along.
And your phone number is?
808-485-9697.
So if someone is interested in getting this in their office, you are willing to go in there and train their people, right? And educate them to a certain degree when it comes to not only how to use the machine, but what it does and how it works and how it's going to help with different types of patient issues. So how does that? How many days is that schooling for their people?
We can do it 3 days, and if it's a little longer day to day, we can go through every protocol in 2 days.
Okay.
And as many people want to learn, and the better. Get hands-on, working with the instrument and going through the protocols, proprietor by John Thorpe, and
you do demos too, right? You can go to the office and do a demo.
Correct. Yeah, set them up.
Okay. Yeah, that's good.
It's a lifetime support system. So once we're on your team and can help you if you have a special case or, just not getting the results that you need, help you through it, and really there to support and help anyone with an instrument. And if you please go online and check out all of the states where people are working health solutions. There's, a lot of doctors that have really transformed, got out of hospitals and are practicing this no harm and utilizing their knowledge that they have gained. And, we just need to complement each other more as humans and get together. And, there's one called Innovative Therapies, and I'm here just as M and here to take any calls. So please reach out for consultations. We can discuss further. I'm open for that, and we'll get back to you as soon as possible.
That's
if
awesome.
You need to leave a message.
Well, you're a wealth of knowledge. We haven't even, I feel like, gotten to all the things that you know, but I know that your heart is good, and I know you want to help many people. And the only way I know you're going to be able to do that is get this machine in many different doctors' offices. So I'll help you as much as I can through the show, because I believe in it so much to the point where I'm actually considering being a practitioner for this. So, Kelly, thank you so much for taking the time. I know you're very busy. I know you've got a lot of clients to take care of and things you need to be doing for your people. But I would love to bring you back on at some point again, and we'll get into other parts of this. And I'll probably see you soon anyway, because my body needs you.
Of course. Of course, we have your appointment set, and I look forward to it.
Yes, my dear. Take care of yourself, honey.
Bless you.
All right, God bless you too. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us today. We ran out of time as usual. Take care of yourself. Be Fit for Health is my website. Check it out. Check out Kelly. I wish you all the best. Take care. Aloha.